The godfather of heavy metal and Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, has passed away at the age of 76. He was just 19 when he started his career as the frontman of Black Sabbath. He also had huge success as a solo artist, and later in his life, he revived his career with the reality TV show The Osbournes. He leaves behind his wife and manager Sharon, 6 children, and several grandchildren. We're joined now by Jem Aswad. He is with Variety. Thank you so much for being here on such a sad day. And I want to touch on the fact that he had his farewell performance just a few weeks ago. And you were talking to us earlier that he didn't sing all of the songs at that tour, right?
Well, no, he did. He did really pretty well for someone who was in his condition. He couldn't really walk, so he performed from this throne they had built for him. But the nice thing about the show was, even though he clearly wasn't at his best, um, usually when there's a show like that, when there are tributes like that, they happen after the person is gone. And it's just really great and very touching that he got to witness how much people revered him and how much they loved him with his old bandmates and later bandmates and bands that he influenced and everything like that in his hometown. It was a really great thing that he managed to hold on for it. And 2 weeks later, here we are.
Yeah, what a moment for his fans, those who have followed him for so long. I also want to touch on the fact that you have interviewed him in person. You've gotten to see the real Ozzy Osbourne in his real setting. Take us back to that time when you met him.
All right. Well, I was really young. I had just started as a music journalist, and I sort of couldn't believe that my boss was sending me to interview Ozzy. But I went, and the interview was at 11 o'clock in the morning. He had clearly just woken up. He's wearing nothing but a bathrobe. I somehow remember it was a light blue pinstripe bathrobe, but all
Okay.
this jewelry, like multiple diamond rings and a Rolex and bracelets and chains and stuff like that. And I look and I can see his knees poking out from the robe, and he's got a primitive smiley face tattoo on one knee and like a sad face on the other. Like, okay, that's a little strange. So he comes out and he sits down, and the publicist says to him, Ozzy, do you need anything? And Ozzy just says, a new brain, meaning a new brain because he was so hungover from the night before.
Yeah, he was very open about his struggles and certainly had a complicated past. But really, a lot of us who weren't the hardcore Black Sabbath followers got to really see his love of family with the reality show. So we got to see both sides of him, which was so amazing for all sides to really adore him.
Well, I mean, that's kind of brought him full circle because early Black Sabbath, people took their songs, people took their image very seriously. They thought they were actually devil worshippers because this was a fairly new thing in music. And for them, it was all just an act and a kind of, show business thing. And people felt very threatened by him. And during his drug years, like when he bit the head off the bat and everything like that, all those things got worse. So the show really humanized him. I mean, I feel like the show was the real him, or at least the real him at that stage of his life, and it made him oddly lovable, which is something that stayed with him. Even as the band's popularity continued and their legend increased because people don't really realize how musically sophisticated isn't quite the word, but how musically innovative the band was. Him as a singer, because it was for him, it wasn't like he, could hit all these super high notes or anything like this, but the emotion that went into his voice, the menace, the fear, the threateningness that he could have in his singing were just amazing. And his music is going to live on for a really long time.
Oh, absolutely. So many shades of Ozzy Osbourne. And I don't want to out my cameraman right now, but honestly, he had tears in his eyes when he heard the news. How was it for you today when you heard?
I mean, it was sad, but it wasn't totally unexpected because we knew he was sick. We knew he probably didn't have that long to go. And quite honestly, doing this for a living, as you know, there are so many coming every day, especially now that rock's 60s generation, 60s and 70s generation is getting to that age. So it's happening all the time. But still, this is one of the major ones, certainly of the year, and a absolute milestone day in heavy metal.
Absolutely. Jem Aswad, thank you so much. And I appreciate your recollection of your one-on-one interview with Ozzy in his bathrobe that miraculous day when you got to meet him in person. Lucky you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.